me ask you a quick question. Okay, where were you on June 2nd, 2011? Okay, not June 1st and not June 3rd, but I need to know where you were on June 2nd, 2011. Okay, now I hope that you don't have the answer off the top of your head, unless it's, of course, your wedding day, the birth of your children, something very important. But I'll tell you for sure, I know exactly what lake I was at. I know for sure what the air temperature and the water temperature and the weather, the barometer were doing. I know exactly what setups I was using, what lines I was using, what leaders I was using. I was fishing size 16 chronomids. I was fishing green micro leeches with gold beads. I hooked 4 fish. I landed 2 of them. The biggest one was 24 inches. Okay, this is a fishing journal that I've kept for over, we're going on 10 years now, okay? I still look back at these. This is critical information. And if you don't journal, then you're going to love today's episode of Fly Fish University TV. It's all about how you can leverage the power of keeping a fly fishing journal, maximizing your results on the water and shortening the amount of time that you're spending planning your trips, lessening the amount of money that you're spending to go, hopefully not waste any time on the water. It's coming up on today's episode of Fly Fish University TV. Hey everybody, welcome back to Fly Fish University. I'm so excited about today's episode. We're going to be talking about journaling. Okay, we're going to be talking about the power of a fly fishing journal and exactly what it's going to do to maximize your results on the water. It's going to cut down the amount of time that you're going to spend planning your trips, and it's going to really allow you, especially if you don't get a ton of opportunity, it's going to allow you to maximize just the precision in which you're going to track your data and you're going to plan your trips accordingly, going, okay, first week of June, if the weather's doing this, I need to be here. It's so critical, but I'm going to tell you how to journal effectively. You don't want to waste your time journaling, okay? You don't want to be writing down all the wrong things only to look back in 5 years and go, oh my God, I wish I would have known, what the water temperature was on that given day. So there's a couple benefits of journaling, okay? The first one is that you're recording precise data. You're not being vague, right? You're not saying the water temperature was warm, the air temperature was mild, the size of fish I caught were big, the fly I was using was black. No, you're tracking very precise data. Exactly what the water temperature was, exactly what flies you were using, exactly what depths you were fishing them at. This is going to help you so much because trust me, you spend enough time on the water and all of these trips, they just start to blend together, right? When I'm guiding anglers, which I don't do as much as I used to do, mostly because I have kids now, but when I'm guiding people, I need to know that I'm putting them on the best possible experience, okay? They're spending money to come fishing with me. I don't want to go, hey, guys, we're going to try this new lake today. I heard about it. My friend drew me a little map on a napkin. I think we can get there. I need to bring them somewhere where I know I'm going to get them the result, okay? So how do I do this? I look back at my old photo books, at my old journals. It's so important to be tracking this information, but to be tracking it very precisely, okay? Another benefit is that it removes a ton of guesswork, right? You're not going to be going, yeah, I think it was June, maybe it was July, maybe it was 2008, maybe it was 2012, I can't remember. You're going to know, you're going to know exactly what you were doing, and you're not going to be guessing your way through your future fishing trips. Now, this doesn't mean go one place, journal about it, and keep going back there, for the end of time. It just means that when you go somewhere new, you're going to track as much data as you possibly can, and it's going to really cut down on that guesswork when it comes down to planning future trips. Okay, this is really important. Another thing is that it's going to tell you your growth. It's going to show you your growth, right? You can look back on, if fly fishing feels like it's really hard for you right now, trust me, if you practice the right things, you get the right information, you get the right teaching or coaching from whoever, okay, it's going to look totally different in 3 years, 5 years, and your standards are going to keep going up and keep going up. It's just like anything, right? It's like we didn't nail it the first time we tried to walk. If you did, good for you. You teach my son, actually, that would be great. But we didn't nail it the first time we tried to ride a bike, right? We just kept trying, we kept trying. But trust me, this, being able to see your growth and seeing just the way that, oh my God, back then I thought that this was a huge accomplishment, and then 3 years later, 5 years down the road, you go, oh, that's just the norm for me now. I remember my first day at a fly shop my first day working at a fly shop, talking to my boss, talking about a lake that I liked, and he said, what's a good day for you there? I said, well, let me tell you, last time I went there, I caught 4 fish, and I was pretty excited about this. He said, wow. He said, that's it? So what do you mean that's it? I said, it's a tough lake. He said, most times when I go there, I'll get 30 or 40 or 50. And I thought, I knew he was telling the truth. I just thought, how is that even possible? You journal enough, right? And you start to look back on these things. You go, wow, I've really, really grown a lot since then. So now I've taught you why journaling is important. Now I'm going to show you exactly what to journal. Okay, so the first thing obviously is date and location. It's pretty useless tracking all this great data and then being like, where did I go this day though? Or what exactly was the date? Okay, so this is really important. You need to know exactly what day, exactly what water body or series of water bodies you were on. Okay, the second thing is water temperature. Now this is really important because sometimes water temperature is more important than the time of the year. Okay, some fisheries, especially let's take some lakes that I like to fish, for example, they're very water temperature dependent. You want to hit let's say you want to hit the chironomid hatch right after the lake is done turning over, the stratification process is taking place, and now, bugs are starting to hatch. Well, that might be a much different time of the year. That might be on a cold year. That might be the third week in May. On a really, really warm year, it might be the first week in May. But I know for sure if I'm going to hit that water temperature in that kind of 51 to 56 degree window, I'm going to hit it right on the money. Okay, so knowing when you have a good day of fishing, what was the water temperature? This is very important. Okay, second thing, this only applies to moving water really, is water level, right? Because water level, so I will look at like a hydrometer. It's really important to know, let's say, okay, I was fishing and it was on the drop and it was at 1.8 meters on so-and-so date. Okay, some fisheries, the water temperature doesn't really matter, but the water level is mission critical. Okay, so you waited, it blew out, and then you hit it on a dropping, level and you nailed it. Okay, well, this was exactly what the window was that you were fishing. So this is really important when you're fishing migrating fish, right? Let's take, for example, some smaller creeks or streams where you might be fishing salmon or steelhead, and they're very flashy, meaning that they go up and down really, really quickly. They can be blown out in the morning and they can be back to low water again, the next morning or even later that day. So it's important to track water level if you're fishing moving water, because you might know that sometimes fish will sit at, let's say, the mouth of a river. They'll wait for that water to spike up. They'll wait for a big rain event, and then they're going to come in, and they're not going to be stale. They're going to be, when that water's on the drop, you might just have that short window of time, but you might experience some great fishing. I've had it many times where you just go, wow, I can't remember everything about that day, but I do remember what the water level was. Really, really important. Okay, now lake fishing, that's not quite as important. Still definitely plays a factor, especially if the lakes that you're fishing suffer severe drawdown, so on and so forth. But water level, if you're fishing moving water, very, very important. Okay. What was hatching, okay, or what were they feeding on? This is like, if you know where to go, when to go there, and what to use, hello, these three things are gonna shorten the amount of time that it's gonna take you to figure out where you're gonna go fishing very, very quickly, okay? So what was hatching, not just like what bug, but everything about them. Were they, not just mayflies, were they blue wing olives, were they pale morning duns, what were they? Okay, this is really important. Were they calabatus? What exactly was hatching? This doesn't even mean that you caught fish this day. It means exactly what their food source was at this water level, at this water temperature, at this date. Okay, so even if you're not catching fish, it's important to know, okay, well, I didn't catch them or I caught very few, but there was a great hatch of chironomids, and I think that if I go back next time, I can dial it in by tying this specific fly pattern, so on and so forth. Okay, next thing, air temperature / weather barometer. This is important too, because obviously the conditions that we're fishing in play such a huge part in whether we're going to be successful or not on the water. So it's important to know, let's say I'm fishing for coho salmon on October 8th of 2011, which I think I was, and I only caught one fish that day, but I do know that I was fishing in really high sun, and I do remember that I was fishing high sun, which is not ideal conditions. High sun and low water, fish get very lockjaw, very spooky, very stale, very hard to catch, okay? So it's important to know, like, were you there at prime time, but the barometer was swinging up and down and it totally put the fish off? Okay, that means it might be worth going back at that time again. okay? So it's just important to track these things. You might seem like, especially if you're brand new to this might seem like, have you lost your mind? And the answer is yes. I lost it like a long time ago. I think when I started fly fishing, I lost it. But anyways, it's important to track, the air temperature, the weather, the barometer. Next thing is productive flies and methods. Okay, so not just I was fishing a black leech on a sinking line. Okay, I was fishing, a number 14. I was fishing a number 14 mohair leech with red flash in it, and I was fishing it on a sink 3.5 full sinking line. Okay, if you want to learn about sinking lines, you can go back 2 episodes ago. Not just what flies or methods work, but exactly what were you using? Precisely what was your tippet? Were you tapering down to 4x or 5x fluorocarbon? Was it a number 12 or a number 14 chronomid? These are really, really important things. Again, the more precise you can be, the better your next trip is going to be. The better that your 2-week-long fishing vacation is going to be next year, okay? The more mistakes that you can make too, this is gonna roll into my next one, but the more mistakes you can make, the faster you're gonna learn. So the next one is unproductive flies and methods. How many different things did you fish until you came across and went, oh my God, this was it, okay? I'll give you a quick example. I was fishing a trophy lake. I don't have my 2014 journal in front of me, but it was in 2014. It was in the first week of June. And I remember for sure that there were damselflies migrating towards the reed patches, as they do in the first week of June in British Columbia. There were lots of damsels, really great damsel migration. And I was anchored kind of right on the transition from shallow water to deep water, and I was catching nothing. Like I fished damsels for like the first 4 hours of the day and didn't even touch a fish. And I'm watching these fish, and they're coming up out of the deep water, and they're going right into the shallows, they're feeding for a second, they're going right back down. I'm thinking, this is crazy. How have I not intercepted at least one fish? I'd watch them kind of swim by my fly, look at it, I'd change flies, I'd go bump my tippet down, I'd take the swivel off, everything. Then I remember going, wow, they must be only feeding in this shallow water, right? They must be only feeding in that kind of 3 to 6 foot transition period. Okay, I pulled my anchors. I was watching the fish swim between my anchor ropes. I pulled my anchors, I moved back, and I started catching fish right away, not on damsels, but on chronomids. There were a few chronomids hatching. Okay, but when I wrote my journal that night, I didn't just write, I caught fish up to 8 pounds on chronomids in shallow water. I wrote, I fished for 4 hours, pulled my hair out, trying to catch fish on damsels, but even though there were damsels present, fish were not interested in them. Why? I don't know. I'll let you know when I figure that one out. But it was really important for me to journal that there were certain things I did that day that really, really didn't work. Okay. The last things are wins, losses, and biggest takeaways. Every time we fish, especially the days when we have really lackluster, really poor results, those are the days where we're going to learn the absolute most. Okay, so what were your highlights? What were your lowlights? I could remember the biggest rainbow trout I ever caught in my life, in still water, in moving water, exactly what I was fishing, everything about it. Okay, these are important things to note, but I can also tell you how many times I've been skunked. A lot, and I've journaled every single one. It's very, very important. I hope that this has shed a little bit of light on just the power of journaling and what it can do for your fly fishing game in terms of saving you time when it comes to planning your future trips, but also just being able to look back and go, oh yeah, last year we were fishing in June there, and I remember that olive chronomid with the red butt and the gold rib. Or I remember, it was our 4th day steelhead fishing, and finally when the water started to drop, I got 3 fish. We floated this marker to this marker, and I fished a black and blue rabbit leech or whatever, right? I'm just ballparking here. It's important to know the fine details. Okay, now, something very depressing happened to me when I bought my first house. I was super excited. I have a ton of journals. I keep them, well, what I thought was I keep a very close eye on them. I don't like to use the word lost, I misplaced temporarily for over a year now. Over 50% of them, and this crushed me. I thought, how on earth can something like this just go missing? I'm afraid that I might have put them somewhere where in the moving process they got put somewhere that I don't even want to think about. So anyways, what I did was I created a digital fishing journal. I thought, you know what, if I can store this on enough places, I'm never, ever, ever going to lose it, right? So I have a digital fishing journal now that it's templated, and basically I store it on my cloud drive, I store it as a PDF, I store it on my computer, I store it on my hard drive, on an external hard drive. It can't go anywhere, right? And even if my computer crashes, I just log into my Dropbox, I've got it there again. Now, I've had a lot of people ask me about this and the journaling process. So what I wanted to do is I want to share this journal with you, and I'm super, super excited to be able to give you access to the Fly Fishing Journal. The Fly Fishing Journal is the price of a nice coffee. I know this because I like to drink nice coffee sometimes. And it's going to help you. It's templated, it's all done for you. And all you're going to do is you're going to go in, you're going to punch in these most important things: time, barometer, hatch, flies that worked, flies that didn't work, number of fish you hooked, number of fish you landed, number of fish you released. And I want you to write something in the bottom of each and every one of these entries, okay? It's $7. You can go to flyfishuniversity.com/journal. I built this for you. I'm so, so excited. It's completely templated. All you have to do is basically fill in, you know, you can start tomorrow or start on your next outing. The cool thing is you can't lose it, and you'll never have to buy another one. All you have to do is duplicate the file and start again, okay? You don't ever have to download one again, but you're never going to lose it. Take it from me that losing your fly fishing journals sucks. It really, really hurts, especially when, you know, I've had many years where I put well over 200 days a year on the water. So it's a little bit crushing when you know that you're probably never going to see that data again. Okay, luckily I can go through like my photo albums and try to come up with as much, you know, that I can remember from each day as possible. But I'm super excited to share this with people. I wanted to make it very affordable, and I wanted to make it really, really nice. Okay, I've built in a few little quick fly fishing tips, but what I wanted was a templated, done-for-you journal that is going to help you track your success on the water. So I'm so excited about this. Go to flyfishuniversity.com/journal. You can grab yourself a copy. I'm very, very grateful to be able to provide something valuable to you, and I would love for you to drop me an email, okay, and let me know. Send me a copy of your journal. I'm not going to read into I won't read into the fine details, but let me know if journaling changes things for you, and feel free to drop a comment. You know, what's something that a day that stands out for you that was basically the result of knowing where to go, when to go, and what to use. I promise this is so powerful. This is going to help you in fly fishing so, so incredibly much. Anyways, thank you so much. My name is Jordan Ulrich, and again, Fly Fish University, we are dedicated to serving, educating as many anglers as we can, and really shortening the learning curve when it comes to fly fishing, because when I came across fly fishing, it wasn't just like I picked up a new hobby or sport. It was like somebody possessed me and just flipped my life upside down overnight. And I'm so thankful to be able to, even amidst, you know, quarantines and things like this, to just be able to help as many anglers as we can with the power of the internet, podcasts, videos, YouTubes, things like that. So thank you so much, and I will see you on Friday's episode, another episode of Q&A Friday. I cannot wait.